What is going on YouTube? It's definitely Nick here, and today we're going to talk about the new Netflix show, A Series of Unfortunate Events. So if you didn't already know, A Series of Unfortunate Events follows the three Baudelaire children after their parents are killed in an accidental fire, and it also follows Count Olaf, who is trying to get his hands on their fortune that's left behind by their parents after they're dead. So, A Series of Unfortunate Events stars Neil Patrick Harris as Count Olaf, Patrick Warburton as Lemony Snicket, Melina Wiseman as Violet, and Lewis Haynes as Klaus Baudelaire. So let's start out with the positives in here. So I just finished it just last night, and it took me a while. First impressions weren't that great, but we're gonna go in depth here a little bit more. So again, let's start with the positives. I would say one major positive is Neil Patrick Harris as Count Olaf. He comes off as very villainous, but also very funny and goofy. Kind of how Count Olaf was. He was just like a very lengthy, weird villain. But I don't. It's kind of stupid, kind of like a personal kind of thing where I can't see him being Count Olaf fully, like in the books, because I read all the books. But I can't see him being Count Olaf. I just see him as Neil Patrick Harris, because when he's Count Olaf, just Count Olaf, he sounds like Neil Patrick Harris. Like maybe he should have done like a kind of little voice change, like kind of like a snarl type voice. But other than that, he just talks like in his regular voice, and I just picture Neil Patrick Harris. Like I can't picture him as Count Olaf fully. Another positive would be Patrick Warburton as Lemony Snicket. He's actually really surprisingly doing really well at being Lemony Snicket. He narrates the story of the three Baudelaire children perfectly, and then he kind of like every scene or whatever, everything that happens, the camera will go over to him and he'll be a part of the scene, but he won't be like actually there. He'll just like blend in kind of, and he'll be narrating perfectly, and he really makes it seem like these stories and stuff are really, really unfortunate in this world, and he's really saddened to be telling us these stories. So, which is perfect, which is what the Lemony Snicket in the books was like. He really didn't want to tell these stories. I'd say another positive would be Lewis Haynes as Klaus. I think he has a lot of potential. I really like him more than the Klaus in the movie, and I think he really fits that role perfectly from the books. I'd say another positive would be that it's pretty funny at times. The show's pretty funny. It makes me laugh a lot. It makes me laugh quite a bit. It has a lot of dark humor. You'll know what I mean if you've seen it, and I just like to laugh, so I like that it has like a comedy type thing to it. I don't want it to be serious the entire time. So another major like positive to this show is the film production. I think the shots are really done very well, and the lighting in the show corresponds to how the children are feeling. So like when they're really down, the lighting will be really dark and gloomy, like the clouds and stuff. It'll be really dark, but then at little tiny moments, those very like little happy moments, it's brightly sunny. So I think that really shows how well they did the lighting and stuff. It really can kind of set the mood. The scaling is done on a level that reminds me of Fantastic Mr. Fox. Like when they're outside and they're filming shots from side to side, it kind of looks like Super Mario. It's like Super Mario from side scrolling left to right, and it's like everything in the background is really tiny, and then everything right here is just there. Like it's just I thought it was really cool. It's very different. It's almost fantasy like if you were reading the book, like, oh, once upon a time the three Baudelaires rode a trolley to the beach, and it's like you're watching the book come to life on the screen from there, like how you would imagine it. Another positive would be it has a very diverse cast. They could have easily just put a bunch of white people in it, but I mean their guardians are all from varied races and stuff. I like that a lot. They could, and some of my favorite actors and actresses from multiple races were cast in this show, and that's awesome. Also, it's very accurate to the book, except for one major storyline that they start off, but then it kind of comes obsolete. And I won't spoil that for you, but I thought they were completely ruining the book. Like, what the hell? This isn't even in the book. But then later, I'm like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. That now they're not ruining the book. Like they tricked me. That's basically what they were like. You thought we were gonna mess it up, and then they just took it back, and they're just messing with us. Okay, so let's now start with the negatives, okay? I wouldn't say there are a lot of negatives, but it's just like, I don't know. Negatives enough to impact the positives. Like, they're not too minuscule, but they definitely impact the positive. They really, like, clash a lot and bring down the positives. So first of all, Melina Wiseman as Violet Baudelaire. I don't want to bag on a child actress too much because it's really hard. Like, it's hard being an actor so young, but Jesus. She almost shows no emotion in any of her lines. This is nothing's convincing from her coming out of her mouth or anything. And then like it's like she doesn't know what emotion should accompany which line. Like she'll say something really urgently. Like it's almost every line she's saying is in an urgent tone. Like we gotta get out of here, like type like that. But like she's saying regular stuff like this is in the book. Oh, I love you. Oh, like it's like she doesn't know what emotion should accompany which emotion, and then when it should be like a heartfelt moment, she just sounds like nothing. Like she's just reading the script. Like that's it. She's just reading the script like in a normal voice, and it's just I I was cringing at times, and I was like, oh, come on. Hopefully she'll get better as the series moves along. She'll start like she's gaining more experience. I mean, this is probably one of her very little experience in being an actress and like stuff like that. So hopefully she'll get better. I'm looking forward to that. Another negative would be it has a really cheery sitcom-ish type of mood in this show. I mean, it's cool. Like it makes me laugh and stuff, and I always want to laugh. I don't want to be too serious, but there's rarely a serious moment in any episode. I mean, each scene makes me feel like I'm watching a sitcom and I should be waiting for a laugh track or for some like everything's too goofy. And I haven't read the books in a while, but I don't remember the books being so goofy. I mean, they were weird, but they weren't so goofy. Like I don't know how to describe it. I mean, the books really hung on how unfortunate and miserable these kids are dealing with all these events their kids are dealing with, and how sinister Count Olaf is. But I just don't get that feeling from the show. I just get the feeling that it's just really goofy and like funny, like it's all a joke. I think it seems a bit too lighthearted. I don't want, not to say I want it to be like murderous and really gory, but like I think the mood just seems off to me. I think they need to figure that out because I don't feel like any urgency or anything or any like, oh no, the kids, they're gonna get taken by Count Olaf. Oh no, and I'm just feeling like, haha, Count Olaf, wow, you're such a fool, you Count Olaf, you. So I don't think I like that a lot. Another negative that I don't know if it's doing it on purpose, but for me, I don't like it. The show doesn't know what time period it is in. And they probably most likely did it on purpose, but just for me personally, I didn't like that at all. I mean, the people dress like they're in the 50s, and they drive cars like they're in the 50s, maybe 60s, maybe even 40s. And then the phones and everything's super old-fashioned. But Count Olaf mentions that he bought an hourglass online, and then Sunny mentions Uber, like she suggests Uber, and I'm like, what? So it just kind of takes me out of the world, and I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't fit the time period. So it just ruins the immersion of this world that they're in, and I didn't like that at all. The last negative is really just like a little another personal kind of thing. Like it's completely personal, my personal preference. It doesn't mean the show's bad in that way. Like it's not really negative like aspect that ruins the show. It's just something I don't like in TV shows or movies. It's when the actors and it's when the actors just bang out line right after another. Like there's no thought process in between what someone said and what they're about to say. It's just like bang bang line, bang bang line, and like just mouthing it out, just shooting every line out. And it's just like, just chill out. Like no one talks like this. Like everyone has to have some kind of thought process, but like in the show there are scenes where there's like what, and just like line right after another, and I just don't like that. Like it's just not my cup of tea, and it doesn't mean the show's bad. It's just like I don't like when they do that. So those are the positives and negatives about this show. My final thoughts are the show isn't bad at all, not at all. I mean, it's just not really what I was expecting or what I was hoping for it. Unfortunately, I have high expectations because of Netflix's record of almost perfect, great content, and they just have a great record of producing great content one after another. And so I was expecting a lot, like, oh my god, Netflix has their hands on a series of unfortunate events, you know. The movie wasn't particularly great, but I think it really satisfied me a lot as a kid. And as a kid, just reading those books and then seeing a movie based off of it, like that, I thought that was pretty cool. I'm still gonna look forward to it. I finished them in like 3 days, I think. It took me a while, but still. I finished it in 3 days, and I'm still looking forward to the next seasons. It was really nice seeing the 4th book, The Miserable Mill, on screen finally, because previously we only seen 1, 2, and 3, a bad beginning, The Reptile Room, and The Wide Window. We'd only seen those on screen and on like performance or whatever, but now we finally got to see another book adaptation on screen. So I thought that was really cool. I think the first 2 episodes are probably the worst of the 8, but it progressively gets better. I'll tell you that. I really didn't enjoy myself in the first 2 episodes, but then after a while, the humor started getting itself right, and everything else started getting itself right. Count Olaf started being a lot better at like doing his disguising. Though Patrick Harris was good at playing all these different roles perfectly, and so I still enjoyed watching it. I loved it. I still love it. A Series of Unfortunate Events is one of my favorite book series ever. Overall, I'd probably give it like a 7.5 out of 10. Hopefully the next season will be better. I can't wait to see this next up, the next books and stuff, and maybe the end. So yeah, guys, there's my review on A Series of Unfortunate Events. Unfortunately, it wasn't as good as I had hoped, but it was still good. I still recommend it. I still say binge watch it if you want to. It's still binge worthy, and I'm still gonna watch it, of course. Like and subscribe for more. As always, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you. Especially is something quite... What's happening?
Evan! I'm not gonna watch them, so I want to see.
You're a bitch. Okay, get out.